Welcome to my show simply entitled Women Influencers. I am Veronica Malala, CCIM, founder and CEO of the Capstack Group of companies, providing commercial real estate development, brokerage, and property management services in the greater Orlando area. Today's guest is Catherine Bell, president of Titan Impact Group, where she leads families to financial independence with impactful investment opportunities, a story you will surely enjoy. Please don't forget to hit that thumbs up button and subscribe below. I welcome your comments and please share with someone who can benefit from this podcast. Well, good morning, Catherine. How are you today?
I am wonderful. So excited to be here with you. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for being here. You're in Mountain Time, I'm in Easter Time, and so let's just dive right in. Catherine, tell us about yourself and your story, how you grew up in your environment, and how you got to where you are today.
Absolutely. So, I actually grew up in Northern Canada. I'm Canadian. And I was born to a teenage mother. And because of that, I was in and out of more homes than you can possibly count. And I actually went to 13 different schools and didn't actually learn to read till I was in the eighth grade. But I got straight A's because I learned very quickly. They didn't want you to think, they just wanted you to get the right answer. And I knew how to do that, which leads me into being extremely resourceful today. It's not about resources, it's about resourcefulness. Fast forward, I ended up raising my brothers. I ended up getting them adopted by their fathers. And then I got myself adopted when I was 16, and it saved my life. And it allowed me to go on and graduate high school, go to college, travel the world. Eventually, I met my husband, who's American, and we got married in 2001. And from that, he had a dream. And so we took his dream, we turned it into a multi-million-dollar company. So I was 26 when I came to the country with nothing. By the time I was 30, we were millionaires. And
Wow.
in that time, discovered we couldn't have children. So we ended up adopting our twins, a boy and a girl, out of the foster care system when they were babies. And then in 2008, we sold our company. 2009, the economy crashed. At the same time, my husband got super, super sick. And we ended up homeless. We lost our entire portfolio because we had all our assets in one asset class basket. And I want people to understand the danger of that. And
Well, hold on a second, Catherine.
basket.
So let me ask you, the investment that you made that made you millionaires, that would be residential homes? What was it?
No, it was a business. Our business was it was one stream of income, and it was very active. It wasn't passive. The portfolio that we had was single family homes that we lost everything when the economy tanked. So my husband got sick. I had to go back to work to provide for our family. I was working 80 hours a week and burning the candle at both ends, taking care of my sick husband, my twins, all of that, and knew that this wasn't going to work. And so I had to figure it out. And so I knew that the average millionaire had 7 streams of passive income, and that's what I needed to do. So I went to work figuring that out. And so fast forward, 2018, life is getting amazing. Everything's like turning around. And then my husband died very tragically.
I'm sorry to hear that. I'm so sorry. Now, tell me a little bit. Your husband, you had mentioned to me earlier, he's a veteran, correct?
Yep. He's a veteran. Yep. And so, yeah, he served in the military. That was before we got married. So a long time before. So, yeah, he died tragically. But the difference between what happened in 2009 and 2018 was I created 13 streams of passive income for our family. So that gave me the ability to take a year off and grieve with my twins and go through the therapy and figure out what we were going to do moving forward. And so that's my story to answer that question.
Wow. Yeah. So what do you do now, Catherine?
So during that time, I ended up getting really, really clear on what actually mattered, and chasing money wasn't it. So I formed my company, Titan Impact Group. So Titan is being the titans of industry, and the sentinels of the American dream, right? And then impact is that every project that we do must leave every person, property, and community better than we found them. And group is that I set all my deals up so that anybody can actually plug into it, become an investor, and have those passive streams of income for their families. Because again, everybody needs a minimum of 7 streams of passive income so that if any of the 5 Ds hit, death, divorce, diagnosis, downsized, or being dumped, at least you have the financial breathing room to have that taken care of so that over here, the emotional piece, you can move through it responsibly. So that's what came out of my husband's death.
Wow, that is amazing, Catherine. And I'm just so excited to hear about that. Primarily because there are so many of us out there, including my audience, I'm sure, who's listening to this and thinking, well, that makes a whole lot of sense.
Right?
So tell me about your company. I mean, do you hire a lot of people? Is it mainly people that you connect with? Tell me a little bit more about that.
So, so I've done a lot of investing. And this is the thing I always want to give people permission to do is try different types of investments, go full cycle so that you figure out what you like and don't like, right? And so because of all of that, I landed on two things. I like to be the bank and I like to rent dirt. Those are my things. So I have multiple mobile home parks because it's all about renting we rent the dirt. That I love the people to actually own the buildings themselves because it gives them pride of ownership. And that really matters when we're building communities. And then we do triple net lease, commercial medical office space, and we have a debt validation fund that helps first responders and veterans get out of debt, stay out of debt, and pays our investors very, very healthy for that. And the whole point, and to answer your question, each one of these is I'm clear. I know how to set up companies and teams. So each one of my companies, so to speak, has its own team that is the expert in that field, right? Because here's the thing, women are really, really good at this particular thing. And when I understood this, all of a sudden it made the difference. So for instance, like when we're moms, we have kids, we don't necessarily go out and get our teaching degree. We go find who already knows how to get them educated. We plug them into that and we get them educated. Or if our family gets sick, we don't go get our PhD. We go find the right medical practitioner who knows how to get them better. Same with our vehicles. We take our vehicles into a mechanic. Well, investing is the same, right? And so when I understood that, that's how I created my streams of passive income. I needed to understand the asset class, but I didn't need to master it. I needed to go find who was the best and then plug into it. And so that's what I've turned around and created for everybody in these particular asset classes. We are the best in these asset classes, and now they can plug in and they can get the passive, not active, passive streams of income and bring stability to their portfolio because it's diversified. And that's what we didn't do when we lost everything in 2009. So I want people to learn from my stupid mistakes, right? So that you can learn from mine, not have to repeat them, but get the lessons and create that stability for their families moving forward, right?
That's amazing. That's truly amazing and so very interesting. I want to move on a little bit and ask you about a challenge that comes to mind and how you overcame it.
So many challenges. The biggest challenge really was when we lost everything, becoming a millionaire and then losing everything. And really having to figure out like what I was going to do. So financial literacy is the unfair advantage, right? And so that was the biggest thing I had to figure out was here I was working 80 hours a week, taking care of my sick husband, my kids. Like I didn't grow up with financial literacy. We didn't learn it in school. Like what were we going to do? And so I had to really lean in and understand what that was. And thanks to the library, thanks to all the books, like I just really got myself mentors. I read an obscene amount of books, like really learned, but more importantly, found people that would come alongside of me that I could come alongside of them and really learn through the process so I could learn from their mistakes, all their lessons and catapult my experience forward faster, right? And that's the whole creating the 13 streams of passive income. So it was like, could I have like just rolled over and just been like, I'm done. I'm not doing this? Sure. But what would that have, what would that have done? Instead, it was like, you know what? Yeah, this happened. We don't get to choose what happens to us. We
Hmm.
only get to choose what we choose to do about it. Right. And that's what I chose to do. Lean in, get educated, find the right mentors, and then make it happen. Even though I was scared, I was so afraid. Right. But again, just pushing through the emotion because ultimately I knew I had to create 7 streams of passive income. That's what the average millionaire had. And that's what I needed to do. I was like, if they can figure it out, I can figure it out. And so
Wow, amazing. Really amazing. I wanted to ask you, since you talked about mentorship and all of that learning, I'm going to ask you about your influence on an outcome. If there was one outcome you're most proud of that you had an incredible influence in, what would that be?
So, I have two nonprofits, but the one is called Wealthwise Women. And it really is not only teaching women about financial literacy and investing, but more important, we bring the actual deals to the table because I want women taking action, right? Like I tell my twins, listen, I don't care what you know, I only care what you do. At the end of the day, it's about the actions we take and the steps that we take to make it actually happen. So, Wealthwise Women is all about that accountability and taking the action so that you're creating those passive streams of income and moving through that fear, moving through all the feelings, because having financial stability, again, that changes everything.
Wow. I am so impressed by that. And I tell you, I do agree with you about financial literacy not being taught in schools.
Right?
And it's not taught in any school. I mean, I come from the Philippines. I actually migrated here in 1989. And I don't really remember, aside from home economics, I don't really remember being taught real financial literacy. And as a matter of fact, there are organizations that are really trying to make an impact in that field. So, very interesting thoughts that you have brought up on this interview. I'm going to ask you, Catherine, if there was one piece of advice that you can give to our audience today, what would that be?
Money is like oxygen. The more you have, the easier it is to breathe. And the more you have and the easier you can breathe, the bigger the difference in the world you can make. And so if you understand that the average millionaire has 7 streams of passive income, you need to lean in and start working with people who are already doing it to be able to do this for your family. Like, it's no joke. Nobody is coming to rescue you. And this is one of the greatest countries. You and I both immigrated to this country. We understand the opportunities here are extraordinary. So you just need to lean in, find the people, and you absolutely can have your version of the American dream be extraordinary.
Really, really great points that you bring up there. And I absolutely love that quote that you started with, because the truth is, a lot of us dream of money, but we don't take action to be able to make the money so that it's sustainable for us, especially for women. So thank you for that. Well, we've come to the part of the interview where I get to pass on the mic to you and you get to ask me a question, Catherine. So please go ahead.
So I love that you're an immigrant too and a woman. So I'd love to know, like, what was the one thing that you did to learn and build your wealth for your family?
So very interesting. I am an immigrant, and I actually my second marriage. I married a very successful, very wealthy man, and we are actually going to go and we've celebrated 24 years of marriage, and it's been fantastic and wonderful. Very difficult, just like any partnership is. It's a
Right.
lot of work, but a lot of commitment, a lot of love that we've grown into. But when we started in our marriage, I always had it in the back of my mind that if he can do it and be successful and be wealthy, I can certainly do it too. And so thankfully, he was one of those husbands that was so very encouraging and supporting. And when I decided that I wanted to be successful as a commercial real estate broker about 10 years ago, he said, whatever it is that you need, I'm here. I will help you. I will support you. I'll take care of the home front. Whatever you need, you should go ahead and do it. And so 10 years later, here I am, and I'm now very focused on helping other women create wealth. This podcast, for instance, is my attempt also to make an impact out there to the women who listen. And so bringing you on, as well as the other guests that I've had on this podcast is also an indication or a telling or an effort on my part to be able to bring these very important pieces of information to help other women do what they need to do to create wealth. I think it's so important. I love the fact that I've just learned from you that millionaires have 7 streams of passive income. And so I'm really so grateful that you are here today, Catherine. As a matter of fact, I wanted to ask you, if my audience wanted to find you, what is the best way to find you? And I know you've also written books, so tell us a little bit about that.
I'm getting ready to launch a book. It's called Commas to Impact: Building Wealth That Makes a Difference. So that is going to launch here on December 5th. I'm so excited.
Oh, I'm so excited for you.
So we have our nonprofit Wealthwise Women, but I'm Catherine Bell. I'm all over social media on LinkedIn, Facebook, all of it. And my company is Titan Impact Group. So if you just Catherine Bell and Titan Impact Group, I'm everywhere and happy to have conversations and like resources. I'm a super connector. So whatever you need, I can usually get to the people and get people connected to do amazing things together because that's what we're here for.
Wow, amazing. Because I'm telling you that about a year ago, I connected with another woman who is very inspiring. Her name is Beth Azor, and she's
Love
an
her.
investor. Yep,
Yep.
investor in shopping centers, and she's been sharing tactics, right? Growing wealth, especially for women. And now I've connected with you, and so hopefully our audience will also connect with you. Buy your book. I'm so excited for you. And so, Catherine, before I say goodbye, I want to thank you for spending the time with us today. And do you have any parting words before we go?
Yes. Thank you for being a woman that leans in and helps educate other women. Because here's one more thing: statistically, women make better investors than men. This is a
Mm.
statistic, it isn't an opinion. And so when you understand that when a man makes $1 million profit, it usually goes to toys. When a woman makes $1 million profit, she pours it into her family and community. We need more women becoming millionaires because the impact that women make is no joke. So thank you for like helping educate, spread the word, the knowledge, the wisdom, and bring all these women together to do extraordinary things in the world. So thank you for who you are.
I love this episode. So I just want to say thank you again, Catherine. And
So
since next week is Thanksgiving, have a very, very happy and safe Thanksgiving.
you too. Thank you.